Never give up. Keep chasing your dreams. If you work hard, you can achieve anything. That's the mantra I lived by for 20 years. It's what got me to the Olympic Games. Let's rewind. Rio 2016. I'm there in the warm-up area. The announcer just calls my name. All of a sudden, my anxiety spikes and my heart's beating out of my chest. My throat goes dry and I'm choking on my mouth guard. My opponent, just my luck, one of the best in the division. We walk out into the arena and the crowd is roaring. There's cameras looking at every angle. Lights blinding me. I can feel the heat emanating from them. We walk up onto the stage and the ref's talking, but I can't hear him. I'm just talking to myself in my head, preparing myself for the battle to come. This is what I've worked so hard for. 20 years of my life. Today's the day where it's going to count. We touch gloves, we step back, and the fight begins. It's fast, he comes in, spin kick. He scores. I panic, I chase forward. He scores again. I look over at the clock, it keeps moving, but my score stays still. He comes in, big punch to my chest, on my sternum. I hear it go crack. It's hard to breathe. 4 minutes later, the fight's over. And so is my Olympic dream. 20 years of hard work. And on that day, I learned that sometimes hard work isn't enough. Sometimes your opponent can just be better. I walked off the stage feeling like an absolute failure. I spent the next few days in the Olympic Village, and if you've never been in one, it's a completely surreal place. You've got 11,000 athletes, the best from all over the world, the fastest, the fittest, the strongest, the most disciplined. And yet, at the end of the 2 weeks, something funny happens. They all end up like me. They all felt like losers. And I remember walking through the closing ceremony. It's supposed to be a festive occasion, but there was a question that was just lingering over me. It was haunting me. What next? What's going to happen now? And so I got home, and I remember speaking to my coach. And he said to me, Hayder, don't give up now. You've got world champs coming up. You've got Olympics just in 4 more years. We've got a real shot here at a medal. Don't give up. You've spent so much time. You've invested all this energy and money. And I started to imagine it. I could have pictured the redemption arc. Eye of the Tiger playing in the background. Rocky montage playing. Me training in the mountains. Chopping down trees to get my arms strong. Yeah, it's going to work. Swimming upstream. But at what cost? I was broke. My social life was in the gutter. My law degree sat there gathering dust. And I was still living at home with my parents, who are sitting in the crowd today, and thank you for all your support. So, one evening I got up and I was on my computer on a blank Word document, and I wrote at the top, how to give up, 4 words. And on that document, I put my dreams, my fears, my deepest insecurities, and all of the questions that I had. It was a complete brain dump. And at the end of it, I came away with 3 important questions. 3 questions that I called the giving up equation. And at the end of it, I had 3 simple truths. And so I made the decision to start climbing a new mountain. I gave up on the sport that was everything to me at that point. It was my identity. And instead, I opened up my first law practice. Fast forward to today, I now own 12 law practices across Australia. I build teams, businesses, processes, but most importantly, I've built a new sense of purpose. And I attribute all of that to understanding when to give up. I started to see, after a few years, when I was practicing law, I started to see this theme start emerging again. It was in one of my earlier cases, and we were acting for a father in the middle of his child custody proceedings. And in this case, the mother had lied and manipulated the whole story, telling the children, lying to the children, that the father had abused them when they were younger, that he was a monster. And every time the father spent time with the kids grew more and more fearful of him. He kept pushing and they kept pulling away. And so I remember after about a year of court cases and litigation, he came into my office. His eyes were hollow. It was like he had been crying. And he said to me, "Hayder, how can I give up on my kids? How can I give up on my family? They're everything to me, but I'm the monster in their eyes. What should I do?" And it was like a light bulb moment, because I remembered my giving up equation. And I started to speak to him about it. The 3 questions that I asked myself when I thought I was making the biggest decision of my life, a point of no return. And at the end of that conversation, he decided to walk away. He decided to stop the court proceedings. A few years later, his kids were teenagers. They reached out to him. They wanted to know the truth for themselves, because there were remnants of the relationship that he was still able to preserve. He never walked away from his kids. Instead, he gave up on the fight that was destroying them. And that's when I realized, when you always focus on never giving up, it's a romantic story, but sometimes it can just be a denial of reality. So I want you to all start thinking, where do you see it in your daily lives, this narrative of never giving up? Is it at your university? Maybe you've thought about changing courses or dropping out. Is your uni telling you, just keep going, your dream job's around the corner? Or maybe it's your boss at work telling you to stay back, keep working hard, that dream promotion's just around the corner. Or maybe it's your partner and loved one. Don't give up on me. I'm going to change, I promise. They never change. So I want you all to think about something in your lives, because this talk is a tutorial. It's how to give up. So we're going to run through an example that I want you guys to start thinking of about how it applies to your life. What's something that you need to give up? What you want to give up? Something that you've held on to for too long. Have a moment, think about it. You got it? Okay. We're going to run it through my giving up equation. And at the end of this, we're all going to be quitters tonight. I'm just imagining tomorrow at Sydney Uni, there's no students left. I'm not going to get invited back, am I? Okay, my giving up equation. 3 magical questions. The first question is, does this align with a person? Does this still make sense for my life now? This is about your identity, and it's about who you are in the past versus who you are today. What have you subscribed to years ago, decades ago, when you were a different version of yourself? You wouldn't recognize that person who is with you today. You've had different experiences, different jobs, different relationships, yet you're still bound to those decisions that earlier version of yourself made. When I was 12 years old, All I wanted was to win an Olympic gold medal. That was my dream. And when I was 26 years old, I still wanted that dream, but I also wanted other things as well. And I realized I was holding on to that dream because I didn't want to disappoint that 12-year-old version of myself. I needed to give myself permission to give up on that dream so that I could pursue and grow and do what today's version of me needed. So think about how that applies to you. What are you holding on to that a different version of yourself originally subscribed to? Let's move to my second question. Does this give more than it takes? This is about your energy levels. It's about protecting your energy. Let's use a different example. Let's forget about work and sport and all that stuff. Let's get personal. Let's talk about relationships. Maybe you've got that one toxic friend. I'm sure all of you have that, the one you see their name coming up on your phone and it's just, not again. The same stories, the same drama, the same chaos, it's all coming. And the truth is you've outgrown all of it. They keep taking energy away from you and you never get any back. You feel emotionally drained after you're spending time with them. All of you here are interested in self-growth. You're at a TED talk on a Thursday night. Let me tell you what the consequence is of growth. Sometimes you can outgrow the people around you. And that's okay. They were maybe meant to be there for a chapter of your lives and not the whole book. My third question of the giving up equation: what will I miss out on if I stay? When people think about giving up on their studies or their work or their career, the first thing that will come to their mind is what I have invested to get to this point. The time, the money, the hours, the years. I can't just give that all up. But they don't ask the opposite side of the question. What will I miss out on if I stay? There is a price to pay. How are you paying for it? Are you paying for it in your happiness, your mental health, potential financial future, relationships? There is always a price to pay. And you could be paying for it in missed opportunities. So think about what you could be doing if you let that thing go, if you just give it up. We've all been led to believe that giving up and quitting, they're negative things, they're one and the same. And I think that's been because we've never been taught how to give up, when to give up, what to give up. If I think back to Rio, the Olympics, walking off the stage, I thought that was the end of my journey, but really it was the turning point. I had to give up in order to give myself the room and the chance to grow. So remember, next time you're at a crossroads, you're thinking of giving something up, think about my 3 questions. Think about the giving up equation. And remember, the subtle art of giving up, it's not about giving up on your dreams. It's about knowing when and what to give up so you can keep pursuing the right ones. Thank you, everyone.